politicians are really good at telling you what the benefits are without explaining the cost. My name's Eric. This is above my pay grade. Let's get into it. So Biden's still suggesting that we hire 80,000 more IRS agents to help with the problem of tax evaders. So on the surface, this might help with people that are evading taxes. But if you go back in history, our taxes, no matter what the federal tax rate was, at one point, the highest tax bracket was 90%. The federal government still took in about the same percentage of tax receipts, as in money they took in from GDP. So no matter what, how the taxes were raised, the federal government still took in the same amount of tax receipts as a percentage of GDP. So they're suggesting to spend $80 billion over the next 10 years on this proposal for a potential $200 billion gain. And I stress potential. And probably a massively huge headache for taxpayers if you've ever been audited before. It is fascinating to me that people still think the government cares about them when politicians say things like, "Hey, we want to target the rich here." Why do you think? I read the other day that tax code has more words than the Bible. Why do you think it's so complicated? Why? You know what I mean? Like, you got to think about if it's so easy to dodge, if you have lawyers, and then we use words like tax strategy, which any smart person does. But why do we have to have a strategy to avoid taxes? Why are there so many loopholes? Why isn't it simple? It's because it benefits a certain category of person. And that ain't you. Okay? So we pretend that these politicians care about us. And I just don't think they do. They care about lining their pocketbooks. They're just like everybody else. And the more power we give them, the more we say, "Hey, fix our problems, please," they're going to give you solutions. They're going to give you the benefit. And you don't know what the cost is. Right? Until later. Just like in 2008 when the Federal Reserve came in with quantitative easing, or when the federal government helped with college, and they want everyone to go to school. How's that working out? Everyone has college debt now. The cost went way up. Same thing with home mortgages. I've said this before, but I read the other day in the Balance that half of Americans, for the first time in history, half of Americans think the American dream is impossible. That's dead. The dream of owning a home, gone. And do I think the housing market will correct? Yes, I do. But all of this, and kind of the through line, I'm trying to educate people, is because the government comes to help. Because they mess with the cost of capital. Because think about every transaction you have. When you go to work, you're working for dollars. And every single day, the government and the Federal Reserve is messing with the cost of that dollar, or the value, or the purchasing power. And so that really jacks with the economy. And when you have hedge funds and banks that have zero cost of capital, they can get money for free. They're going to invest it. They're going to take money from the Federal Reserve. They're going to invest it in things like, real estate. And all of this is under the umbrella of helping the American people. And you tell me if the 1% are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer and the middle class are getting wiped out. That's what it seems like to me. And it doesn't seem like people are actually being helped by these things, because they see the benefit, but they don't see the cost till 10 years later. And it's costing the country a lot. So part of my my goal to educate people is to get out of the system, to get out of the dollar-based system, because the dollar-based system is what's keeping that. You're a hamster on a wheel, right? You keep running and running and running. You're like, why am I not getting ahead? I'm making more money. I'm saving more, but the cost of capital and purchasing power is getting devalued. And by the way, that was happening long before you saw actual inflation, like the 8% inflation, 8.6% inflation number we saw last month. We run on inflation. That's how this economy works. The Federal Reserve has a 2% target for inflation every year. So it's frustrating to me to see people continually voting for things that don't help them in the long run. And maybe it'll keep happening, and maybe the pain has to be bad enough that people see reality. Maybe. I hope not. I hope that people come to their senses and they think, hey, the government actually doesn't produce anything. The government only takes stuff, and the government should have rules, but what should those rules be? Right? Should they be spending billions of dollars to enforce tax code and not get any more revenue from it? Potentially not. The government doesn't create anything. It's the working class that does. And without taxpayers, the government wouldn't exist. So the more they get out of your life and let you take charge of it, the better. And right now, they have distorted the economy and the dollar so much that it's high time people look for a different option, my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just think I want to educate people. I want people to see the light and realize there's not a good ending to this fiat Ponzi scheme of pay for things we can't afford. There's not a good ending to it. And the more we buy things and pay for things that we can't afford, we're already pretty much there as far as tax receipts. We run a deficit every year. How long can that last? Just ask yourself in your own life, how long could it last where you continually take out more debt to pay on the debt you already have? And if you're the issuer of the currency, and you're the issuer of debt, aka bonds, if you're the U.S. government, at one point, somebody's not going to trust in your bonds anymore because you're repaying them by just printing more money. And so the value of that bond goes down. So currency runs on trust, folks. And the United States government is losing trust in the dollar as we speak. I lost trust a couple of years ago. But I encourage you to do your own research about different avenues to invest your money outside of the dollar system. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you in the next one.